What is going on, everybody? Colonel Cotton Belt here, and I'm doing a test stream because I'm having to more or less check settings. So I'm going to wait till someone gets in the chat, see if they can hear me. Hopefully they can. Looks like Hot Dog Pilot Andy is here. So what is going on, Andy? If you don't mind, just let me know if you can hear me or not. Let me know if it's too loud, if it's not loud enough. I am curious. 5 times 5. Well, 5 by 5. And Joe Raider, me too. So I don't know if that means if it's loud, not loud enough. Joe's saying I sound good, so that's a good deal. Marty M's here. What's going on, Marty? Says I sound great as well. So for those who don't know, there is a crow that's been flying around the United States. And I talked to him earlier this morning, and me and him are going to meet up at the hobby shop in Bald Knob, Arkansas at 3 o'clock. And then he's going to come back down here, and I got to make sure that I have everything ready because hopefully we can go live tonight and either do some operations or maybe a water resin pour. Not sure if he's tuning in while he's driving, but I think I've got the scenery pretty much done to do the pond pour. And I kind of want it to look very similar to his swamp water that he did. And he told me that he did it in layers. So curious to see if there's anything else I'm going to need for that or what. So hoping to get there. So hopefully everybody's having a good Friday. Normally when I kind of go live last minute with these, I kind of go at the tracks and whatnot. But how is everybody's Friday going? So, all right. Looks like we got, let's see here. All right, so everything's sounding good. Looks like the chat's not moving. I don't know if the chat has frozen up on the stream or what. Let me look and see if I can find it in my channel. So Andy is saying he's doing pretty good. So I guess just everybody's being quiet. And how about for y'all? I didn't even monetize this stream. So that's because it's a test stream. It won't even let me in it on my phone. This is crazy. Hey, train work. What's going on? Yep, sounds good. Okay, good deal. Good deal. So yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me join, but maybe who the heck knows? Review channel. Okay, there we go. Now it's letting me join in. Wow, okay. So I guess hey, Rick Bailey, what's going on, man? And Opa Dodge is here too. What is going on, Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider? So I guess what I can do to kind of give y'all a sneak peek, let's go over to camera 1. It's going to be zoomed in, so I'm going to have to zoom it out. What I've been working on is signals here, and the layout's not on, so that's why they're not lit. And if I had them fully in the holes, then you can't see them as well. But I'll show you some of the stuff that I've been doing over in the Sawmill area. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I've temporarily added some pipes, so they are being held together by Scotch tape. But as I do the scenery, I will eventually glue those together. Wow, Marty is in North Dakota picking up, moving my daughter freshman year college in the books. So now she's fixing to turn into a sophomore. That's pretty cool, Marty. We got Scott here, Waycross Train Spotter. What's going on, Scott? But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with the big building in the way. But I did add some static grass. You can kind of see around the locomotives. On the right side, you can see where I added some static grass there. And I did add some static grass over on the levee and on the other side of the levee too. So, Ian Melling, what's going on, Ian? Yeah, Marty, I know the weather sucks. I saw where Ryan Hall is live. I don't know for those who follow him, but I follow him for weather because sometimes he sees things. Him and his meteorologist Andy Hill, they'll see things before the National Weather Service sees things. So I typically do like to follow him. Hey, Jim Tedesco, what's going on? So, but yeah, let me zoom back out. But yeah, the piping, that's pretty much how it's going to look. You can't see it, but I do have the conveyor going from the DeBarker building, which is the building on the right where the roof is not as rusted. I'm probably going to have to add some more rust to that building. And that building is actually glued in on the layout. But there's a conveyor that goes from that building up to the little bitty building at the very top center, and that's the wood chipper. And I will have to run a pipe from the back side of it to the pipe that's over the wood chip loader. But I'm just not ready for that yet. And I did add some more static grass over on the main field area. So you can kind of see where it goes from like a dark greenish color to a lighter green color. So yeah, Scott, I still do track plans. That I still do. I do charge by the hour on the plan. So depending on how difficult you want your plan to be, or how basic and how simple, that will factor the cost on that. Sometimes I can get a plan done within just a few hours. Bigger layouts, that requires a lot more time. And also it depends on if you just want the tracks or if you want, me to put scenery on your plan as well. So I prefer just to do the track because the scenery, that should be kind of more on your end because that's your art. But sometimes just trying to figure out how to have a conducive track plan based on what you're wanting to do will depend on, angles and things like that. L&A Roro Productions. What is going on? And Derek Alexander is here too. What's going on, Derek? Long time no see, buddy. So, yeah, I'm not really going to be here much longer. Like I said, that Flying Crow, he is going to be on his way here shortly. And I just need to make sure that, one, this is working so we can go live later. And then, two, the other thing that I need to make sure that is working is Operations Pro. I've got some trains staged, ready to go. I got some track cleaned up. I did do, I've got Hickory Ridge all tested, and it's working. But y'all see the messy train room. But yeah, we could do some ops over here on this side. Budweiser kind of hides a few things, but it's all right. We can always adjust as is. Yes, an ops session. That is correct. So for those who don't know, right now I'm in the process of redoing track, and if you notice that the turnouts, the ties are actually look like real wood versus the flex track that I'm actually using. And hey, Marty M. Hey, I got something for you. Hold on a second. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. But Marty, you're going to have to settle for something else. Let me see if I can find something. All right. Let's see how this works. All right, you ready, Marty? This is for your $10 super chat. There you go. I haven't bought a power adapter for it yet. I think it's, I'll have to look again. I think it's either a 12 volt or 24 volt, and it's a 2 amp. And I had a power adapter for 1 amp, but not for 2 amp. And the 1 amp was swinging the bell actuator, but it wasn't enough to make it ding all the way. So it does work. I just don't have the right power adapter. But thank you again so much for that $10 super chat. Much, much appreciated. And I hope you are doing safe up there in North Dakota, visiting your daughter, helping her out. Because, man, the storms are bad this time of year. So I don't know if y'all can hear or not, but we got more chicks. So you might hear some. I might have to change the name of the layout from the Delta Pine Sub to the Chicken Express. But yeah, I got some baby chicks here in the train room too. They are, let's see, they're down in that box right there with that heat lamp. They're just a few weeks old. So yeah, fast track's fun, absolutely. So I've been redoing the layout with fast tracks. This section of the layout here, the crossovers on the main line and the connecting turnout, so it'd be like 3 turnouts in a row, those are all one piece. I've got another one down here. So it's all built as one continuous piece. The yard ladder, if I had the yard ladder jig, I would have built the ladder as one piece, but I decided not to. On the other side, and it's kind of hard to see with that cut of cars there, but behind that cut of cars is actually a double slip. And then you can barely see the single slip between the vat and the conveyor to the vat. So this layout here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 individual turnouts, a single slip, a double slip, and then 2 crossovers with a turnout attached. And so that took a lot of time to build. And so once I get this scenery stuff, I'm going to do a little bit of it over here in the other town, which is Wiener. So let me zoom back out. And yeah, the KFC fast line, that's funny. You can see where I built the double crossover. And then, of course, I have several other individual turnouts. And then behind the backdrop wall there where it goes to staging, I have a curved yard ladder. It's a compound ladder that's all one piece. I did that back in 2023. So slowly but surely, doing all my turnouts and stuff, that's going to help me towards my NMRA civil engineering. So unfortunately, can't run trains because they're just going to I mean, it's point to point. But this layout was not designed for continuous runs. It was designed for operations. When the layout is fully finished, in other words, when the lower deck is built and a helix connects both decks, then I could do continuous running. Because around the sawmill is a balloon loop, and it does go behind the backdrop, and then it comes out of the backdrop. So it just kind of makes it look like, a train's coming out of nowhere. So right now I've got that one track. It's pretty much staged. I've got a maintenance away train on it, and then there is a signal, and the signal's not lit, and the 3 switchers are not going to stay there this evening. But you can see I've got a bidirectional signal here with a set of FTs behind it, and then you can see the staging yard in the background. So yeah, that's for those that are new to the channel. TTF or TT Foles, welcome. Thank you for letting me know that the audio and video is all working well. I really, really appreciate it. So Cascade Lumber and Milling, or it's actually Cascade Milling and Lumber Company. One of my channel members actually got to pick that name out, or they got to suggest names. And it was picked, I believe, by my wife. And so, or she picked 3, and I think the channel members got to vote on it. I think it's the conductor level and higher got the vote. And so that was the name that was picked on it. I will be doing some more of those in the future. But, pretty good area. I felt like that, with all the buildings and stuff, that would look good inside of a balloon loop. There are 3 tracks, so you can see the box cars there with the loading dock, with the forklift. My guy fell off of it, so I'll get him glued back on eventually. And I've got some more details and stuff to go there too. That's going to be the shipping. And then over here, you can see that there is a flat car with logs on it. That's going to be where the log track is. And then there's a wood chip track right beside it. So it's a scene that it's still in the works. I've got the water poured under the trestle. But I do not have the water poured in the pond. I do have logs that are to float in the pond. So I will have to get those done as well. You can see the switching panel there. So the nice thing about my layout is you should never have to touch the turnouts. Everything is controlled by tortoises and push buttons. And the buttons, they do light up green and red. The buttons that are going to be on the orange section only will be controlled by a computer as well. And the dispatcher who's operating the computer can disengage those buttons from the switching panels just by the click of a button on the panel on the computer. So the buttons can be either operated individually or dispatcher controlling the main line. Now, individual industries such as getting to the wood chips and the logs, that's not going to be on the dispatcher's panel. Dispatch only cares about the main line and the main line only. So I've got that one panel there for this side of the layout. The other panels are going to be much harder to see. There's downtown Wiener right there. And for those who know about the pink donut, you're not going to be able to see the name of the building. But that is a reference to The Simpsons. Homer always eats pink donuts. So that is Homer's Donuts. All right. I don't know if that post building there with the Pepsi thing will stay or not. The bowling alley, you can see the white roof on it. For those who have seen the video about the bowling alley, that's Blue Ball Lanes. So I had to have a little fun with that. And I will be putting some more road in this area as well. All right, let's zoom out. And Oh, there is a small switch panel right there in front of the double crossover, and it just only controls the double crossover. All right, coming over here, back to Hickory Ridge. Let's see here. You can kind of see that there are two switching panel boxes mounted on the front of the layout. And because this is it's literally like 15 feet of length for this whole switching industry. So from Passmore Gas, where the tank car is at the very bottom of the screen, all the way to Wilson Foods, where the track starts to curve and it goes to the next town. That is, I kid you not, 15 feet. So, and because I'm building a double level layout, you can see some of the baby chicks in the brooder box. Because I'm building a double level layout, this layer level is up high. So in order to switch with it, you kind of have to be on a step stool, which I'm going to build some benches eventually when I get the bottom level built, so you can either stand on it or sit on it. But Derek, I will get to that later. He's wanting to know why I'm changed the name. But both of the switching panel boxes actually control every single switch. They're duplicate panels, fully duplicated. So no matter what side you're operating from, if you're on the left side, you got a panel to your right. If you're on the right side, you got a panel to your left. I put the waybill boxes on both sides so you can put your clipboard in it when you're doing operations. And if you're in the middle, and I might add another clipboard holder, but if you're in the middle, you can actually reach both the left and the right switching panels. Eventually, I will start doing the fast tracks for the back level. Yep, you can see one of the birdies on the roosting bar. So that's pretty much where I am at with the layout. All right, Derek, I know you did a video on the changes, but why did you change the name? Because I used to do a lot more. When I started my channel, I was not honed in on an era. I was not honed strictly on a geographic location. I just built a layout just to say it's a layout. And I've been doing model railroading since 2006 as an adult. Now, I did have a train set when I was a kid. It was an old Bachmann set with the AC power pack. But as an adult, I have been consistently doing model railroading since 2006. When I started my channel, I was not just doing model railroading, but I was doing a lot of rail fanning as well. And I've noticed over the years, and keep in mind, I've been doing this for 5 years now. Over the years, my model railroading videos get a lot more views than my rail fanning videos. And yeah, there you go. There you go, Papa John, because he's a freak. And I was trying to do all things trains, right? And so the Train Freak was not taken, or I believe it might have been taken, but it was like a game, like a video gaming channel doing Model Train Simulator. He had like maybe 3 or 4 videos up there, and he only had less than 10 subscribers. So the name never took off. So when I originally started my channel, I was SSW Train Freak. SSW being St. Louis Southwestern, which is the actual railroad's name for the Cotton Belt. Cotton Belt's just a trade name. So about 2 months after I started the YouTube channel, I changed it from SSW Train Freak to just the Train Freak and left it at that. And then it's like, okay, new layout. You know, we tore down the old layout. We enclosed what was a garage. Because my original layout when I started a YouTube channel was a garage layout. And so tore that layout out, enclosed the garage, actually insulated it. I've got an AC unit and a heater in here. So it is insulated. The only thing I haven't done to this room is put a floor in. I might do that eventually. I don't know yet. So things changed. since I started the channel. And I just felt like, okay, I'm not doing the rail fanning videos near as much as I used to. Now my new layout, it's honed in on a specific geographic location, a specific, railroad or group of railroads, a specific year. Like, I'm not a group of years, I'm a specific year. So 1958 is the year I'm modeling. And I have my reasons why I picked that year. Originally, I picked 1960 and found out that the Cotton Belt didn't have passenger service in 1960. So I went to 1959. So I backed it up 1 year. That was the last year Cotton Belt had passenger service. But then I found out that their passenger units were in Bloody Nose in 1959. The FP7 number 306, which I do have that one. And Athearn Genesis did it in 3 different versions because it went through different variations. All right, Marty. Hey, man, thanks for stopping in. Have a safe drive tomorrow, and just keep an eye on the storms because it's not a good time of the year for that. So just be safe out there, buddy. But, so Athearn Genesis did these beautiful locomotives in daylight, which would be correct for 1958, but they're not correct for 1959. And the reason being because the FP7, the only one that the Cotton Belt had, got wrecked at the end of 58. And when they pulled it out of the shops, that's when they went ahead and put Bloody Nose paint on it. So it was the first Cotton Belt unit to receive Bloody Nose, even though SP had some of their units with Bloody Nose on it at that time. So I was like, okay, we're going to back up 1 more year. 1958, I should be good to go, and I am. Now, there is some units on the layout that is actually not accurate to 1958. They would have been repainted, and with those units, I really don't care. One of those units, I don't know how well we can zoom in on it, but I'm going to try my best. It's these FTs. Let's see here. Sitting right there. That's not a bad zoom. There we go. It's a little blurry. Let me see if I can focus it. I might be zoomed in too far for it to autofocus. There it goes. And you can see I've got that track temporarily hooked up. So that's the end of the line right now. But those FTs right there, that would have been the paint scheme that Cotton Belt got in. Hey, Andy Puff Candy Dobson. Welcome, Andy. That would have been the paint scheme of 1945. That's when Cotton Belt got their first set of diesels. And those would have been repainted to Black Widow by 1950. They have a red pinstripe. And, of course, when the sun fades red, what color does it turn into? It turns into pink. So that's why if you ever see the UP patched Bloody Nose locomotives, they have a pink nose and not so much red nose anymore. So, and I really like that paint scheme, and I do got to give a huge shout out to Norman Rowe. He took my Colonel Cotton Belt logo and colorized it, and he did 3 different color variations for me: the daylight, the Black Widow, and the yellow and gray. And that yellow and gray, man, it just pops. And it's not the same yellow and gray that Union Pacific uses. It is a different yellow and gray. So that's why I went with that. And I do have an ABBA set. The other set, you probably saw, it's over in the town of Wiener. So I just put Soundtrack's Blue Namis in the A and B unit on over at Wiener. These 2 here still have the Tsunami 2s. They will get Blue Namis eventually. All my locomotives will have Blue Namis eventually. Because it's much cheaper for me to put Blue Namis in there than Tsunami 2s and having to buy extra throttles for op sessions. I will say there is a group of guys locally to me. It's right now me and 3 other guys that will be doing round robins once a month on each other's layouts. doing op sessions. So we have that. All right. Wow, that didn't do a fade. Let me see if that works better. There we go. All right, going back. So now if you look behind me, you can see that I have several bloody noses. I've got the Bicentennial Fleet. I've got a modern daylight diesel locomotive right there. Someone actually recently gave me this John Deere crane and tender, so I've got it sitting up there too. Let me turn that off. There we go. And then you can see that I do have one of the bloody noses at the top. That's a AC-44 or -9, followed by a Black Rock Central boxcar. Dang, where's Joe Rader at? And then behind that is a Great Northern car that Weathering with AJ did for me. Behind that, it's kind of hard to read, but it says Freak. And that would be this car here. That's what Tim with They Make It Like That. He did that car for me. And that's a Split Rock Mining Company for those who follow Split Rock. Then Chris Mitchell over at the Amarillo Railroad Museum gave me that one. And BNC Systems Shortline says my volume needs to go up. Is it because I moved away from the camera, or is it not loud? Because everybody else is saying my mic is loud. I can crank it up. If I need to crank it up, just let me know in the chat. But I also have another -9 here, and they're not the same number. So I've got two -9s. Those are both scale trains that I got from Jack. And then this is my only Union Pacific locomotive that I will actually own. And it is custom decaled. It's the BSA Heritage Unit. So I'll show you all that. There you go. And you will not see that unit anywhere else. Because Union Pacific has no longer, they have repainted it since. And so Derek says, sounds good. Just quieter when I leaned away. Hey, Dave, Scott Rails is here. What's going on, Dave? And we got Closet Branch here too, so welcome. So this here is just kind of my display. And yes, I do have a bloody nose tanker. That's actually a fuel tender. So SP would run that between two locomotives on their local, and they wouldn't have to refuel it as often. So that is a fuel tender. SP only had one of those, and that is an Athearn. I believe it's a ready to roll. So yeah. And then of course this track up here is actually my Rock Island staging track, and so I've got the locomotives. Let's see if we get the locomotives. There we go. All right, so I've got the locomotive that I won from Lynn McCurdy here, and then I bought a black and red one to go with it, and I still have my RS1, so those are both RS3s. Yes, I have all three. Technically, 4 bicentennials, because I've got the caboose, I've got the U25B, the SD45T2, and let me see if I can angle it, the Jeep 40P. And I also have the Olympic unit too. So, and then right above that, that is my Nathan delay train that Nathan made me. So this is my display shelf. This is actually the first thing you see when you come into my train room. So, all right, Andy is out of here. Got a split. Later, folks. Take care, Andy, and have fun on that hot dog flight as you fly on out of here. Hey, at least you fly straighter than the crow. That crow, man, he's got a bent wing. So when he flies, he's kind of like in a zigzag because he's got to overcompensate. He's always drifting to the left, and so when he flies to the right, he, LNA Railroad Productions, he knows what I'm talking about because that's his buddy too, if I'm not mistaken. So, Yeah, they did do a sweet job on that Jeep 40P. Yeah, it's an Athearn Genesis. Bowser did the U25B, and it's really nice as well. You can actually see through the grate here. It's very very detailed. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me or not, but you can actually see through that. So, yeah, he does have a bent wing. That's right. But yeah, I think they did a really really good job on this locomotive as well. It's actually popped off. There we go. Came undone a little bit. And that fuel tank, that's heavy. This is one heavy locomotive. This is the only bicentennial unit that I have not put Tsunami 2 in. The Jeep 40P, it came with Tsunami 2, and the SD 45T-2 I put Tsunami 2 in years ago. But of course I do have the caboose to go with it. I don't know if it, there you go. I wish Athearn would have done the caboose in Genesis and gave it like the detail marker lights and stuff, but they didn't do that. Because I mean, if you look at these two cabooses here, so you look at this one, it's a much better looking paint scheme, and then you look at this one here, yeah, it's just blurry. You can see that the bottom one has way more detail. And this one's lighted. This one's not. So, not that it has interior lights, but the marker lights also, it's hard to tell, but the marker lights here have LEDs as well. Now, the actual prototype to this caboose here, number 83, is over in the Arkansas Railroad Museum down in Pine Bluff, my hometown, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So I was like, yeah, I definitely got to have that one. So, yeah, I've got lots of cabooses. So, all right. Well, I think what I'm going to do, it's at 1 o'clock. I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off. So, just to let y'all know, I don't know exactly what time. It's going to depend on Robert. Like I said, I'm meeting him about 3 o'clock at the hobby shop up in Bald Knob. And do you consider yourself a prototypical modeler? Your rolling stock seems to fit the era, but the layout seems to be freelance. I am a proto-lance modeler. The rolling stock and the locomotives are prototypical for the era. The layout, the names of the towns are prototypical. The like the order that the towns are in are prototypical with selective compression, of course. So there are towns missing that's in between certain towns. So, for example, like you got Weiner, Arkansas, that's a real town. Hickory Ridge is a real town. Brinkley's a real town that actually did interchange with the Rock Island there. Nope, you're good, Heath. You are absolutely good. And then, of course, Jonesboro being the North Staging Yard, that's a real town. There's actual towns in between those towns, and of course, if I was to do that, I mean, I would only have maybe 4 or 5 miles if I didn't do selective compression. So, the names of the towns are prototypical. When I do my operations sessions, 90% of the trains are prototypical too. So that would be the trains going in the correct direction, or the trains, the actual name of the trains. I did a lot of research on that. I found a 1958 employees timetable, which only showed the locals and the passenger train. But I did find a book that had the manifest trains in it, and I had to contact a university out in Utah. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been BYU. And they had a copy of the book in their library, and they got me copies of the pictures of what I was looking for because I could not find the book. And then, so the only thing that's freelanced is what is located at these facilities. Riceland's a real industry, and it is going to be moved away from the town of Wiener when I do Stuttgart, which is going to be the north side of the Helix. And that is Riceland's actual headquarters. So that's probably going to be the only prototypical industry on the layout. The rest of the industries, the rest of the town buildings, city buildings and whatnot, on the commercial side, those are all freelanced. So, hobby shop where? Bald Knob, Arkansas. That is right off of I-57, going northeast out of Little Rock. And US 64 branches off and goes east towards Memphis, Tennessee. And then from there, you've got the Missouri Pacific Hoxie subdivision, and it was off, and you have the Union Pacific Memphis subdivision. And the hobby shop is in the old depot. So I'll be there later. You should call Robert while you're live and ask him how long he's going to be. Nah, I'm not going to bug him on that one. So how did you decide where and when you wanted to be prototypical and when you were able to be freelance? So it was actually fellow YouTubers that I saw the success that they were having. And when I decided to enclose the train shed and build a new layout, that's when I decided to make some changes. The previous layout did not have any town names. It was built for continuous running and operations, but not to the scale of this. I got to blame YouTube for my direction on it. And it's not just any one channel in particular, so I'm not going to name channels. Some are channels that are involved in our community, and some are channels that are not involved in our community. So I'm just going to put it that way. But yeah, that's when we changed the room, that's kind of when I decided to make that change. So, all right, guys. Well, I've been on here for 45 minutes. It is 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. So I need to make sure my Ops Pro is working correctly. So other than that, I'm going to let y'all have at it. Y'all can, like I said, just stay tuned. We will be live sometime later, pretty sure. Possibly live tomorrow as well. Probably not during Back on Track, but sometime after that. So, yes, I did. And the videos, the old layout videos are unlisted, but I think you might be able to find a playlist with them on there. So you might be able to find some of the old videos. So the car card and Waybills videos are definitely from the old layout, if not mistaken. All right. Other than that, y'all be safe. Have a great rest of your day. Hope to see y'all later. And happy railroading.